Leos, how are we doing today? I hope all is well. This is going to be your weekly read from July 13th through the 19th. All right, we're going to grab you a Moonology card. Remember, take what resonates, leave the rest. And as always, check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs to get a fuller picture. All right. I would have had this out yesterday, but I was not feeling super great, so I decided to rest. All right, let's see what we got going on for Leo. All right, those wanting to flip over, we'll see if they come back out. What do we have going on for the beautiful lions? One more. There we go. You and your loved ones are safe. The energy is gaining momentum. So you and your loved ones are safe right now. New moon in Cancer. So maybe you're in a situation where you feel like things are kind of chaotic or not really. I feel like with that Six of Swords right here, that it's kind of maybe rocky the moment, and you're just kind of having the strength and energy to keep pushing forward. You know, maybe you're dealing with somebody that is very driven or sporadic. I don't know why the King of Wands made me think sporadic. I feel like sporadic was the word I wanted to use. All right, what do we have going on for the beautiful Leos? We have Temperance coming out. So maybe learning a little bit of patience, trying to balance out some kind of situation. You know, maybe you're trying to move forward in a general direction. You know, the Star. It's about healing. I feel like this is kind of a hopeful energy that you can push forward for whatever that is. Maybe there's a situation that you've been really stuck in your head about. I do feel stuck in your head. It is the Two of Swords, but it's kind of like an indecision. Which way am I going to go? How am I creating? Like, how am I going to make this work? Type of energy. If that makes sense. And I feel like the universe does want you to know that you're safe. All the cards popping out. You got a lot of majors going on. We have Death and Rebirth. We have Ace of Pentacles. We have that Nine of Wands popping back out. And then we have the Empress. On the bottom. It's like gaining momentum, but not really knowing which direction. Or you're like, you maybe have a direction in mind, but not knowing how to get there. And kind of putting that research and study in. But first, you're going to have to walk away from something to make it happen. So I feel like with the Temperance and the Chariot, it's telling you that, you know, you're going to have balance, but you got to keep moving forward. So you're trying to balance something out right now, but you're trying to have the willpower and action to move forward. But there's something that needs to either end or change, you know. You want to do that. What you want is some kind of new start with stability. And you're willing to put the work and effort in with that Nine of Wands. But I feel like you just kind of need a moment to breathe, collect your thoughts, and understand that the world is your oyster at the moment. And I really like this energy. I did see the Wheel of Fortune trying to pop out there. So I feel like it's kind of divine timing. There is that King of Wands again. All right. Yep. The World. Definitely a new chapter, a new cycle, and something. I feel like I'm trying to find balance when it comes to higher power or commitments. This might be a marriage situation. This could just be commitments within your own life. But I feel like it's more about trying to find the balance between the energies of some kind of commitment that you have going on in your life. And it's telling you to keep pushing forward, to have the willpower. You're driving your own train here. You know, what is it that you're wanting to build and what is it that you're wanting to balance? I don't know if you can see, but he is also balancing on that one leg with that pinnacle. And a lot of it has to do with, how are you transforming your own mindset into being able to have some creative lead. This could be you pushing into some kind of promotion or just stepping out of your comfort zone at the moment. Tell me about this Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, there's that Knight of Swords again. It's like once you have that idea, that concept, it starts building some momentum. And with that Nine of Wands, I feel like you're working towards it. You're like maybe tired, maybe exhausted, but you're like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. This is what I'm striving for. So with you and your loved ones are safe, that can really apply to anything. That could be like finances, maybe even struggling, and I feel like maybe you're pushing past some kind of toxic situation that you've been dealing with that you're just trying to get out of. You're like, I don't have the effort or energy, and you kind of turned your back towards it this week. You're focused on you, what you can birth in this world. Tell me about this Empress, please. I feel like this is a super weird week, but we're still going to go. I like that. I feel like if it's not like nurturing or if it's not giving to, you're not willing to look at any opportunities that come your way. You're just kind of like, yeah, I'm good. I like that. That's really good. I feel like this week you're kind of holding back your energy and just kind of focus on your own self-love right at the moment. You might have been looking at options, and that might be options that push you out to having some kind of peace in your world. And I really, really kind of like that. It's really, really nice. Definitely, definitely feeling like you are, focused on moving forward right now. We have that Nine of Pentacles, slow and steady progress, and being very determined with something with that King of Swords. And that strength. And I really like this. So slow and steady progress with a strong determination to have the strength, I think pushes you in alignment to find people that you're able to really create with. Whether this is a better life for you or getting out of a bad situation or finding new love opportunities. It's definitely about allowing yourself to slowly grow, having very strong determination and your own inner strength. And I really like that for you guys, All right, we're going to get you a Let Go card, and then we're going to do a short love read. I'm not sure if I'm going to switch up my love decks. I feel like they've been coming out kind of negative, and I really don't like that. I want to give you guys some positive light. I do see a lot of positive in this read, though. Knowing that Spirit's watching out for you. It's just all about, it's really just about patience and balance. Allowing things to kind of work themselves out. Allowing yourself to keep pushing forward. Especially when it comes to your own stability and your abundance. I think maybe the way you think about passion or driving or the way you think about somebody that's in that is something that you're kind of, I feel like transforming, or even that thought process might be ending about something. You're focused on something new that enables you to push forward and gain some momentum and really gives you the energy to push away from whatever like toxicity is kind of what I'm feeling, that you're not really willing to deal with anymore, and really focus on your own creative side, your own nurturing side, and not focus on the opportunities or the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I know that might not make sense, but dismiss thoughts that don't lead to the garden of Infinite possibilities. I'll learn how to read one day. I like that. And I feel like that's that Nine of Wands, the Devil, the Empress kind of energy, where you're just kind of pushing those thoughts away and just focusing on what can be and ignoring the things that shouldn't be. You are supported and will have helpers whenever you need them. Let them come. And I like that. That's another way of saying that you and your loved ones are safe. And that's a really, really beautiful energy. So definitely a really, really good week for you, Leos. I really do see some movement, a lot of change and transformation. So I love this. All right, let's get on to that love portion that we know everybody wants to come for. I'm probably not going to do this in every single weekly read. Maybe one of them a month. If I see love on the table, I'll tell you about it. All right, what do we got going on for Leos? What do you got to tell them for love? All right, I think we're using, I don't remember what this deck's called. I think it's Whispers Oracle. We have shocking, silence, pride, and peace. We have bitterness on the bottom. So if you're feeling trapped and bitter about a situation, I feel like the stress is just distracting you type of energy. So this might have been something that was incredibly shocking or unexpected. You know, maybe you got the silent treatment and, you know, you've spent some time kind of going in your head about like, why? And a lot of it might have to do with somebody else's pride or their ego. But I feel like in the end, you're going to end up with some kind of peaceful balance. And I feel like that's kind of what your read has been telling you. I don't know if this is love or not. But you might have gotten some shocking news that just kind of, I feel like stonewalled your world. You know, maybe hurt your pride. And the universe is trying to tell you in order to find some peace, you also got to focus on intimacy also. So maybe that's confiding in your friends, your family. But a lot of it is, you know, when you start to be bitter about a situation, you tend to be trapped and it kind of leaves you stuck. And the more you stress about it, the more it distracts you from being in the real world. All right, my beautiful Leos, that's what I have for you. So if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. You guys have a great day. Thanks.